In the sunlit hills of a small, vibrant African village, there lived a young girl named Nola. She was known for her kindness and gentle spirit, moving through her days with a heart open to all. Though only 13, Nola spent her days helping her neighbors, carrying water from the river, and playing with the younger children who adored her like an older sister. Her days were filled with laughter and joy, yet Nola carried a secret: she was afraid. She feared the dark shadows that fell across her village at night, the loud thunder that sometimes rattled her home, and, most of all, the possibility of confronting someone who meant harm. Nola had never been one for bravery, and she had long accepted this about herself. One day, as the sun cast a warm golden glow over the village, trouble arrived. A man named Mfom, who had grown rich and powerful, came to Nola's village with a band of guards by his side. His voice boomed as he announced his intentions. "This land here," he declared, pointing at the farmlands that fed the village, "will belong to me. From now on, you will work these lands for my profit, and anyone who dares oppose me will face the consequences." A murmur of fear spread through the crowd as Mfom's guards stepped forward, their faces hard as stone. No one in the village had the strength or the will to stand against a man like Mfom. His reputation as a ruthless man who stopped at nothing to get what he wanted was well known. The people feared him, for he had taken land from neighboring villages before, leaving them in ruin and despair. The villagers exchanged looks of worry, but no one dared to speak. Nola, watching from the edge of the crowd, felt her heart race. She saw the fear in her friends' eyes and heard the whispering voices of the elders, who feared they would lose their homes and their way of life. Her hands trembled as she gripped the edge of her shawl. Her spirit longed to stand up and speak, yet her voice was stilled by fear. "Who am I to speak against him?" she thought. "I am only one girl, what can I do?" That night, Nola lay restless in her bed, unable to sleep. Shadows played across her walls as the moonlight seeped through the cracks in her roof. She thought of her friends, of her little brother who relied on her, of her parents who had taught her to love the land they called home. She felt a heavy weight in her heart, a feeling she couldn't ignore. As she lay there, a gentle breeze rustled her window curtain, and a soft voice spoke from the darkness. "Nola," the voice was calm and soothing. Nola turned, her eyes widening as she saw an old woman standing at her window. It was Auntie Zoy, an elder from the village who was known for her wisdom and her deep understanding of the land. "Auntie Zoy," Nola whispered, wondering how she had come without a sound. Auntie Zoy smiled, her eyes twinkling in the dim light. "I could feel your spirit calling out, dear Nola. The village needs you. Fear is a shadow that falls on all of us, but courage is the light that pushes it away. Remember, child, true bravery is not the absence of fear but the strength to stand despite it." Nola looked down, feeling the weight of Zoe's words settle within her. "But how can I, Auntie? I am just a girl. Mfom is powerful, and I am so afraid." The old woman reached out, gently placing her hand over Nola's. "The world does not need you to be fearless, Nola. It needs you to be brave. Sometimes, it is in the quietest hearts that the loudest courage lies. If you speak up, you may find that others are waiting to do the same." With these words, Auntie Zoy turned and disappeared into the night, leaving Nola alone with her thoughts. She stayed awake until the first light of dawn, her heart feeling both heavier and lighter at the same time. For the first time, Nola felt a spark within her, a feeling that perhaps she did have something to offer, a voice that could, if she chose, inspire others. The following morning, as the sun climbed high above the village, Nola took a deep breath and called the villagers to gather. Her voice trembled, but her determination held firm. She stood before her friends, family, and neighbors, who looked at her with curiosity and concern. "We cannot let Mfom take what is ours," Nola began, her voice steadying with each word. "He may be strong, but together, we are stronger." If we stand as one, he cannot take our land, our homes, or our future. The villagers exchanged glances, some of them nodding, others still uncertain. An elder spoke up, his voice laced with worry. But Nola, he has guards and weapons. What if he comes back and tries to harm us? Nola looked at each face in the crowd, her heart swelling with a strength she hadn't known she possessed. I know you are afraid, she said gently. I am afraid too. But love for our home and each other is stronger than any fear. If we believe in one another and refuse to give in, Mfom will see that we are not weak. We are a community, bound by love and loyalty, and together, we are unbreakable. The villagers listened, their spirits lifting as they saw the fire in Nola's eyes. One by one, they began to nod, their own courage rekindled by her words. The children looked up to Nola with admiration, the elders murmured in agreement, and slowly, the entire village came together, united by a common resolve. The next day, Mfom returned, expecting to see the villagers cowering before him. But instead, he found them standing shoulder to shoulder, a line of strength and unity stretching before him. At the front stood Nola, her gaze steady and unflinching. Mfom scoffed, sneering at the sight of a young girl leading the crowd. You, he sneered, looking Nola up and down. You think you can stand against me? Nola's heart pounded, but she held her ground. She looked Mfom in the eye and spoke with a clear, unwavering voice. This land does not belong to you. It is ours, and we will not allow you to take it. We may be small, but together, we are stronger than you. The guards exchanged uneasy glances, seeing the resolve in the villagers' faces. Mfom hesitated, realizing he was outmatched not by numbers or weapons but by a force he could not intimidate, unity. The villagers' courage was something he could not break, and he knew that to fight them would bring him nothing but shame. With a snarl of frustration, Mfom turned and signaled to his guards. This isn't over, he growled, though his voice lacked conviction. The villagers stood their ground, watching as Mfom and his men left, defeated not by might but by the unbreakable spirit of a village united. When the danger had passed, the villagers erupted in cheers, lifting Nola onto their shoulders. The village was filled with joy and laughter, celebrating their victory and the young girl who had shown them the strength of their own hearts. From that day forward, Nola was known not just as the kind-hearted girl, but as the one with the brave heart. Her courage became a beacon, inspiring others to stand for what was right and to trust in the strength of unity. And Nola herself grew into a leader, her once timid heart transformed by the love she held for her village and the bravery she found within. As the sun set over the golden fields, casting a warm glow on the village that had become a symbol of resilience, Nola sat quietly, watching the sky turn shades of orange and pink. She knew that the courage Auntie Zoy had spoken of was not just hers, it belonged to everyone in her village, to every heart that had dared to stand up for their home. And Nola's brave heart continued to beat, a quiet but enduring reminder that sometimes, courage begins with a single voice, and that voice can spark a light that shines forever.